So RFK Jr. got invited to give testimony in front of Congress on censorship. And what's kind of ironic is that the Democrats tried to censor him from the. There was over 100 Democrats signed a letter saying that they shouldn't allow him to testify in front of Congress. They wanted to set at a censorship hearing.
Yeah.
They wanted to censor him over censorship.
It's a censorship hearing. They're going to have some censorship. What do you think it is? A no censorship hearing?
So this woman doesn't get to vote in Congress, but she's she's the ranking member of whatever this committee is. And she's a Democrat. And
Yeah.
what? Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, yeah. Her name is Stacey Plaskett. Where's she from? She's a non-voting member.
Yeah, let me look at her
The Virgin Islands.
Is it the Virgin Islands?
Yes,
Is that it?
you are correct.
Okay, thank you, Kurt. And so she's trying to make a career of herself by being the biggest Democratic hack in the world. And so she's against free speech, and she wants to censor everybody.
Importantly, again, I go back to just the fact that we are creating a platform.
A platform.
For this kind of discussion, not about the censorship, not about free speech, but the content of some of that speech that we are amplifying in this room.
So yeah, she doesn't have a problem with speech, just the content of speech.
Yeah.
What?
Say something empty. It's fine.
Yeah, saying something. But if there's actual content to what you're saying, then we have to censor it. This is a modern day. I would think these were the craziest right-wing Christian Republicans from the 1950s and 60s and 70s wanting to censor everything. No, these are just run-of-the-mill Democrats now, are the most maniacal, authoritarian, dictator-like censoring people.
They all sound like Nurse Ratched from One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Yep. And so here, and she talks about platform. She does that thing again.
I mean, if you say, oh my God.
Hey, here's some speech. I'd like to use this platform to amplify Kurt. Did you know that Stacey Plaskett, that very woman, she solicited donations from Jeffrey Epstein?
Mm-hmm.
Every Jepstein?
You mean before he was convicted? No, after.
Well, a guy's got money.
After he was convicted of sexually assaulting minors. Google it. Google it.
Googled.
And you know, in life and in politics, I mean, look how she comes across.
Importantly, again, I go back to just the fact that we are creating a platform for this kind of discussion.
So is it in politics and in life, Kurt, it's the worst extremists that come across as the most reasonable. She seems reasonable. So here they go into, they wanted to censor his whole thing. And, but then they were going to give him 10 minutes to speak. And then, well, let's listen to what the Democrats did.
I know that witnesses usually have 5 minutes. I see 10 minutes on the board. Is it going to be 10 minutes?
We'll give him 5 minutes, but we're pretty low.
Hey, she said, I see 10 minutes on the board. Why are you going to give him 10 minutes? You're going to give him 10 minutes? I see the witness has 10 minutes. I'd like to do what I did to Bernie Sanders in the primaries.
With this, we'll let him go for.
We are?
Yeah,
I've seen you gavel down on quite a number of witnesses.
given senators and former Democrat members of Congress and all kinds
He's
of.
neither. He's neither.
I'm just saying in past history.
Okay.
So the chairman of the committee is saying we've given people a lot more time. We have a leeway to do that. A lot of senators, a lot of ex-congressmen. We've given extra time, and she goes, he's neither of those. RFK Jr. He's neither of those. And he goes, okay, all right, we'll cut his time down to 5 minutes, right? Isn't that what he's?
Right.
We'll watch the time for all the witnesses.
And if you want to cut him off and censor him some more, you're welcome to do it.
Oh, that's not my job. That's your job. Why not?
He gets a nice laugh, and she tries to talk. She tries to step on his laugh. Mr. Chairman, please, I'd like to redirect to a still shot of an empty Trump podium.
You threaten a witness so that they can not want to be a
Mr.
witness.
Kennedy is recognized for his opening statement. We'll give him 5 minutes, more or less, and then we'll move to the next one. Mr. Kennedy, go right ahead.
So I want to show you one more attempt at censoring him before I show you his opening statement. So here they are trying to censor him again.
I'd like to raise a point of order.
Gentlelady, state a point of order.
Point of order pursuant to House Rule 11, Clause 2, which Mr. Kennedy is violative of. I move that we move into executive session because Mr. Kennedy has repeatedly made despicable anti-Semitic and anti-Asian comments as recently as last week. Rule 11, Clause 2 said.
So she's trying to shut down the entire hearing right now.
You know what I don't like about her? She doesn't use enough hair gel.
Jesus Christ. What is she doing? Anyway, oh my God. Anyway, here she's trying to shut down the whole thing. She's trying to say this shouldn't be done in public. A censorship hearing should be done in private.
I like how hard she's working, even though There will be no consequences for any of them for these hearings ever.
Ever.
You can't even have a meaningless tell about how you got censored and let that go, and nobody, the media ain't going to pick it up.
No. So right now she wants to make a censorship hearing private. She wants to make this a bigger joke than a DSA meeting.
Whenever it is asserted by a member of the committee that the evidence or testimony at a hearing may tend to defame, degrade, or incriminate any person, or it is asserted by a witness that the evidence or testimony that the witness would give at a hearing may tend to defame, degrade, or incriminate the witness, and it goes on. Mr. Kennedy, among many other things, has said, I know a lot now about bioweapons. We put out hundreds of millions of dollars into ethnically targeted microbes. The Chinese have done the same thing. In fact, COVID-19, there was...
So the thing she doesn't want said at an open meeting, she's reading at an open meeting. This is the stuff she's afraid of being said. She's the one saying it.
She just made a platform. Oh, if you say platform, please just...
Argument that it is ethnically targeted. COVID-19 attacks certain races disproportionately. The races that are most immune to COVID-19 are...
A lady making a motion or a speech?
I made a motion to move into executive session because Mr. Kennedy's testimony...
Mr. Chairman, I
and
move
his
to table the
previous
motion.
statements-
Gentleman from Kentucky.
So she's making a motion to completely censor the hearing and put it into private. The censorship hearing go private. And the reason she gives is that RFK Jr. might say something that defames someone.
By the way, the thing that it targets people of color the hardest, they all said that the whole pandemic.
I know, Kurt. I know. So let's go on to
Move to table.
so now.
Okay, so you have
so that's our friend Kim Iverson. So now they went on to he goes, I want to table that. So you know what that means? So that means that her motion to move it from a public hearing to private, they want to table that. I mean, let's not act on it.
What?
Let's table it. Let's have this hearing. Meaning that's what I think. Table means you postponed action on it. That's what I think tabling means.
Oh, I was hoping that she'd go sit under a table in
I'm
another
not
room.
yeah. I don't know about I'm not up on the Robert's Rules of Order, parliamentary rule of order, but I'm pretty sure that's what that means. So now they're going to take a vote to see if they can tell Debbie Wasserman Schultz to shut up. That's what this is.
Table it.
The gentleman from North Dakota.
So they had a vote on that, and they shut her up. So they had the vote, and they voted to shut Debbie Wasserman Schultz up and to let RFK Jr. speak. But before they did that, they go to this guy Massie, who I love. Watch this.
Oh yeah.
Wow. The irony and cognitive dissonance from the other side of the aisle. It's deafening. You could cut it with a knife. They are at the same time denying that censorship is occurring, but suggesting that there's more material that needs to be censored. This is a hearing on censorship that began with an effort, with a formal motion from the other side of the aisle to censor Mr. Kennedy. They do not want him to speak, yet that is the topic of this hearing. They have kept him from speaking. A collusion between the government and private organizations. Mr. Kennedy, in your opening statement, you introduced us to this word malinformation. Can you tell us more about this made-up word, what it means, and some of the things that...
So we'll get back to that. Come see our live shows. We're going to be in Chicago, Rosemont, Las Vegas, Salt Lake City, New York City, Pottstown, Pennsylvania, Stamford, Toronto, Toledo, Detroit, St. Louis, and more. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for those tickets.